Alright guys, Hayzink here, welcome back to the channel for another Street Fighter Duel video. Let's take a quick look at Oni, shall we? This is going to be a unit preview, we'll call it, not a review, because hey, it's fantasy booking right now. Can't really actually say if a unit's good or bad based on fantasy booking. We can guess if they're good or bad, but we can't actually say if they're good or bad. So we have Oni, who is a Thunder unit. Makes sense. I say that, but often it doesn't make sense. But they could have made him a Master, or sorry, they could have made him an Inferno. He is, based on what I could see, he does have a lot of Thunder in his kit, so it's nice that they actually did make him Thunder. This is probably going to make him, just without looking at his details, I'm probably going to go out on a limb here and assume that he's going to be the strongest Thunder DPS. It seems at this point like that's probably going to be a fact, but I guess we'll find out right now. So let's look at his kit. Probably start off by looking at his... Let's look at his fighting spirit. Right, bit different, right? So he gets damage reduction. What is he, by the way? Is he an attacker or is he a shield? He's a tank. I didn't think he was a tank. It's a strong tank then, right? Fire a thunder beam that strikes all enemies in a straight line 3 times. Each strike deals thunder damage equal to 205% of attack. The first strike inflicts ultra shock. Gain super armor while unleashing this skill. The first strike inflicts thunder vulnerability. Increases the number of strikes to 4, and each strikes thunder damage to 215% of attack. Increases thunder damage taken by 10% for 8 seconds. Ultra shock. Damage takes thunder damage equal to 10% of attack for each attack received. Stacks up to 10 times. I wonder if that means he's going to bring units like Trendy Kami and Trendy Dalsim and Thunder units, if he's going to bring them into play now. Maybe even Chief Viper, I think she's got Thunder in her kit. It could. Doesn't look like that stacks though. I mean, don't get me wrong, being able to take an additional 10% damage is pretty good. It would be better if it could stack obviously, but it doesn't look like it can stack. His combo 1 is a trigger. Taunt all enemies for 6 seconds, also gain a thunder shield equal to 20% of max HP for 6 seconds. For 6 seconds when this fighter is attacked, there is a 30% base chance of inflicting 1 shock. Upon unleashing the skill, gain 15% damage reduction, increase the chance of shock to 40%, also grant the shield to all friendly fighters for 6 seconds. There is a 20% base chance of inflicting 1 shock on the attacker. Right. Grand Tempest. Trigger skill. Jump and perform a spinning kick that strikes 5 times. Each strike deals thunder damage equal to 112% of attack. There's a 30% base chance of inflicting shock. Gain 30% damage reduction. Gain 30% increased pressure. Increases each strike's thunder damage to 136% of attack, and base chance of inflicting 1-time shock to 40. Okay, it's got a tough shield. It's got a powerful shield. Pretty damage dealing shield here. Tank, I keep saying shield, tank. Normal attacks will inflict 1 shock on their target. This effect does not require the passive skill to be unlocked. That's the second unit that said that. Every 5 shock inflicted by Horror Oni will be converted into 1 ultra shock and stun the target for 1 second upon inflicting ultra shock. Horror Oni will recover 10% max HP, obtain a shield equal to 10% max HP, and increase the shields of all friendly fighters by 5%, stacking up to 50%. 50% shield with 50% of what, HP? Or defense? Upon inflicting Ultra Shock, Horror Oni's defense will be increased by 8%, stacking up to 80. Upon inflicting Ultra Shock, Horror Oni's crit resist will be increased by 5%. Upon inflicting Ultra Shock, Horror Oni's effect resist will be increased by 5%. I mean, so far so good, to be completely honest. Level 5, upon inflicting Ultra Shock, Horror Oni's damage reduction will be increased by 3%, stacking up to 30. I mean, that's just bonus at that point, isn't it? Garage. Upon entering battle, grant all other friendly fighters shields equal to 20% max HP and share 15% of the damage they receive. Nice. Every 5 seconds deal normal attack damage to the enemy fighter with the highest HP percentage and trigger the special effects recover 50 super combo gauge and inflict 1-time shock. Every 5 seconds. Need to try him on bossing, because in one way that could be bad, only because if he's going to be constantly attacking and causing shock and stuff. The way that bossing works, you guys should know this by now, because bossing's existed for how long? The boss, the reason you can sit until like 40 seconds to go before you attack is because boss's damage output is scaled by how much damage it's taken. So each time you hit a boss, essentially, let's just say you're killing it and it's leveling up, and as it levels up, it's hitting you harder, hence the reason why a boss can maybe one-shot you when you've hit it for 1 billion damage towards the end of the fight, whereas the same attack wouldn't even like scratch you at the start of the fight, because the damage that they do to you is directly representative of how much damage you put on them. So as you're sitting there waiting, if he's constantly damaging the boss, I'm wondering, is it going to be enough that it will start to actually chip away at your teams and maybe kill you? I don't know. I don't think so, but this is why we need to get the units out in the wild to actually use them. But I mean, in theory that looks pretty decent. It's not going to be good for PvP or anything. He could be. I mean, he doesn't have anything in his kit like ignore damage vulnerabilities and stuff, or damage immunities and stuff, so I mean, he's certainly not going to be a meta unit for PvP, because we know the meta units have something like that. He doesn't have a revival, he doesn't have a ignore damage immunity, so I think tentatively, I think he's going to be a bossing unit. Problem I've got with him is, as you guys know, when it comes to bossing, it's about quick comboing. Like, it's just how they work. And trigger units are flawed in a sense that you can cancel their triggers. There's all these things you can do. If you're running on auto, it's fine. But if you're doing it manually, if you've not got that timing absolutely locked in, you end up missing attacks, you end up doing all sorts. So I need to wait and see. Again, this is really why I need to get the unit out in the wild to see what he's like. Does he get anything extra from his soul power? Also grant the shield to all other friendly fighters for 6 seconds. And increases each strike's thunder damage to 136% of attack and base chance of inflicting shock to 40%. So I mean, I think ultimately he's just a really tanky attacker more than anything. He does seem to be quite a tanky attacker, but he is going to increase the rate that you do thunder damage, do you know what I mean? So like, we could hopefully see units. I mean, if we go down and we look, you've got, she's got thunder in her kit, she's got shock and thunder damage. Where is it? One of these, shock, bolts of lightning. See, I don't actually think they're classed as thunder damage. Is it just shock? That's maybe she's no useful then. But where is she? 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 She should be up here. And hers do see thunder damage. Shock gives you thunder damage, obviously. Maybe it is just shock. I thought all of her damage. Wait, so if you actually check someone like, say, let me just check something here. If we go to you, flame damage. No, you should have people that actually do thunder damage. So apart from our shock, Trendy Kami actually doesn't do thunder damage apart from our shock. What character? Trendy Dhalsim, I'm sure he does thunder damage, or is his just shock as well? Trendy Dhalsim. Thunder damage. Flame damage. Thunder damage. So Trendy Dhalsim's probably going to do pretty well with him. So that would be alright for a C2, because the more units you've got doing thunder damage, the more you're going to do, because Oni's a trigger character anyway, so he's only using his super. Maybe get a buffer in your C1. You could use his C2, and then for say your C3. Does Sagat no do thunder damage? Sagat C3 no thunder damage? It is. So I mean, quite big thunder damage as well. Would it be viable though? Let's quite a lot. I mean, you could have something like Oni into a buffer or shield or something like that, then have Trendy Dowsum as your C2, and then have something like this as your C3, because you're going to have 4 different attackers. This could be quite decent. Who else does just straight thunder damage? Not shock, I'm looking for specifically straight thunder damage. Sonic Saber, that's just attack damage, that's not thunder damage. Does Guy do thunder damage? Nope. I don't even know why she's in here. Does she do thunder damage? Don't think so. She does soul damage. God knows why she's in that class. I don't even think he does thunder damage, does he? No. There's very few characters. I mean, like, I think she does. Yeah. Poison. I mean, Poison does pretty good. Poison's pretty slept on. Poison could be quite a good option actually for that, for the C3. So I mean, even at then, I think our C2's got thunder on it too, doesn't it? Yeah, so I mean, if you don't have Trendy Dowsum, it's probably not going to be as effective, but I mean, there's somebody that can do thunder on the C2, you can get somebody like Sagat doing thunder on the C3. I'm just thinking the damage numbers here, trying to maximise, so hopefully I can get the unit pulled, because if I get the unit pulled, then we can like actually experiment and see how this plays out in real time, see how much we can min-max the damage numbers. But I think Oni looks okay, I think he looks decent. I can't really see him necessarily being a bossing, a PvP unit, which means ultimately you're looking at him being a bossing unit. It really comes down to how much is he going to move the needle when it comes to bossing. With the right units, depending on what your box looks like, I think he could probably be a solid option, but again, going to want to actually take him out in the field and see. So hopefully in this next video I do, when I'm trying to get some copies of him, I can at least get him up to a viable level where I can take him out and he won't just die, and we can see how he gets on. But anyway, that's it. I've been Hayzink, thanks for watching. Let me know if you're going to be going for him, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.